Hi, I'm Jason, owner of rucRak, and I'm here today to teach you how to put this on this to make it look like this. Tools you're going to need before you start: a 1/2 inch wrench, a 9/16 wrench, a 5/8 wrench, and a 1/2 inch drive ratchet, and your favorite adult beverage. Now, optional tools include you can get a 3/16 hex socket and a 7/32 hex socket, but those hex keys come in your kit, so you don't have to have those. Now, in your kit, you're going to find your mounting studs that go with the vehicle that you're going to put this on. Now, we're putting this on a Bronco today. If you have a Jeep or a Land Rover, it'll come with a different pack, but it also comes with this hitch stabilizer, and this is the first thing we're gonna put together really quick today. So we're gonna get this out of the package. And we're going to want to put that U-bolt right through there, and then put flat washer, flat washer, block washer, block washer, nut, nut, and then you're going to want to put that on with this flange facing the load handler. Okay, now we're just gonna slide this in your hitch really quick, and we're not gonna put a pin or anything in it yet, because we're gonna adjust it later. Okay, so since this is pretty much a universal product across many car manufacturer designs, and people do a lot of custom stuff back here, bigger tires, different wheels, different tailgate applications, tailgaters, things like that. So this tire moves up and down, this wheel gets deeper. And let me tell you something real quick. Tire, wheel, rim. Don't mix those up. Okay? So we have to chase all of those things, and that's why the next part is really important for you to understand. So what I want you to do is take your mounting plate, and I want you to orient it to the lug nuts that you have. Now, if you have 2 fingers worth of distance back here and you still have lugs sticking out, you're good. You're fine. You can mount the mounting plate to the front of this. Okay? That's what we're calling the front when we do it like that. All right. If you don't, and you have to slide that thing way back up against the tire to get any lugs sticking out here, then you're going to want to mount this in this fashion, what I call the back side of the uprights. Okay? And then we're going to test up and down, because this wheel can move up and down depending on your application. So this is going to be a little test mode, and you'll see how that works here in just a second. Now, if you have to put your mounting plate all the way against that tire and you still don't see about a 1/2 inch of lug coming out of this, you're going to need our lug nut extensions. Your wheel is way too deep and for this application, so you're going to have to order some of our lug nut extensions, and they're on the website. But for this application, what we're going to do is, you'll see that there's 3 holes or 6 holes on each side of this, and that's to be able to move this plate up and down so that these legs move up and down so we can chase the tire height that you have on your vehicle. For this application, we're going to move it here and make sure we're good. And remember, we're going to put this to what I'm calling the front side of the uprights. And with that, we're going to put part number 204, and we're going to use the hex key, the 3/16 hex key, but I'm going to use my hex sockets. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the middle 4 holes here, and that's pretty much the standard. And then we're going to test it out to see if we're close. So put these 4 in. Now, it is very important that when you tighten these down, that this edge is flush, really good, plumb and flush against the side of this. If you don't, the tolerances are off and this will not work correctly, and then you're going to call me mad at me. So we're going to tighten those down. It's good and tight. Good and tight. We'll move to the other side. Remember, we're keeping that flush. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find these feet here and screw them into the bottom of these uprights. And screw them all the way up so we can have the adjustment in them. And now we're going to kind of hang this on the lug studs, making sure that these uprights are flat against the tire, because the tire actually provides these with a little rigidity. And then we're going to adjust the load handler under it, and then we're going to screw our feet down. And if you have more than about 3 inches of space between here and here, you're going to want to move this up so that the leg goes down. So if you have a lot of space down here, you're going to want to switch to the top hole. Now, if you find that you don't have enough space between here and here to adjust that foot, you're going to want to switch the mounting plate to the bottom hole, and that's for your 19 and up, like Wrangler X's or Unlimiteds that are not Rubicon. Now that we've decided how our mounting plate is mounted, front or back, up or down, now we can attach the flagpole to it, umbrella holder. So we're going to need part number 216, which is the 2-inch bolt, and part number 205, which is the block nuts. And what I like to do is I like to mount mine on the passenger side of the vehicle, so that is the proper way to mount the flag. And we're going to just stick that bolt through there, line those up, put that on there. Now, if you've mounted it to the inside of these uprights, this flagpole is designed to fit in this pocket between the mounting plate and the upright. So you're going to mount it to the front side. So you just want it in this pocket right here, whichever side that is on. So we'll just tighten these up. And there's no need to crank down on these. This is aluminum pipe, and it will bend on you if you do it too much. So G-men out there, back off just a little bit. Okay? Just needs to be good and tight. There you go. Now, we're going to put that to the side, and we're going to get out your upper basket and table, and we're going to get out these funky little things here. And Buster, better known as Pinball, wants to participate here, and we got to be sure not to step on him because he's blind and he has no idea what is going on here. So we got your table, and we got these right here. Now, these are side oriented. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find the one that goes on the left side, and how that works is, I can turn this around. This leg right here has to be just on the outside of this, and those holes line up. Okay? So then you're going to take the last four of part number 204, and you're going to put them through the front side here, and I'll tell you why here in a minute, so you can read rucRak, and those button heads go in here. And before you tighten them up, you're going to want to make sure that this edge right here stays good and tight against the edge of that table. If you don't, it gets all wonky. The tolerances are pretty tight. It won't fit. And again, you'll be calling me mad at me. So let's tighten those up, making sure that the edge stays good and flush. And now we'll just switch to the other side. Boom. Okay? All right. So now we're going to attach our table to our uprights. And let's go after this hole right here in the top. These right here are for you to be able to move this down 3 inches. But for the travel position, we're going to put it right here. And we're going to put that hole right here. We're going to line this up right here like that. And put that in there just like that. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Let's line that up. And we're using part number 215, which is the 5/16 pin. And then we're going to take part number 210, which are the knobs, and screw them down. And then the next hole down, you're going to want to put the other two pins in, and this will hold the table when you fold it down. And we'll go over that here in a little bit. Now, we can go ahead and mount this on the vehicle now. So be sure that you have your 3 backing nuts that are on these, and because those are important. And what you're going to want to do is, remember we line those feet up, and you're going to want to put a little pressure so that plate bends in just a hair, and then pull those backing nuts back up to the back side of this plate so that you can tighten it down without bending this plate a lot. So put a little bit of pressure on there, pull those backing nuts on the back side up to the back side of this plate, and then we can tighten it down here. Now these nuts are going to be the same size as your original lug nuts, so you may have to use your lug nut tool to tighten them, but on the Broncos and the JK Jeeps, these are the same size. So now we got that tight. And we got that tight. Okay, now we're going to put this, what we're calling the cover plate on, and this provides 2 functions. It covers the top lug nut so it can't be stolen, and very easily, and it provides this plate some rigidity. So we're going to take part number 203, the nuts there, 203. We can put one in right here. And then slide it over, put the other one in, and then we can tighten them up. And this can be really good and tight because you want to give this plate a little bit of rigidity. Okay, now the next part you're going to need are what we're calling our horizontal pipe, our hinge gussets, and our hinge plate. So this operation is vital to the function of the basket that flips over, and if you don't follow every single step perfectly, it will not function correctly, so please pay attention. We have part numbers 217, 206, 207, and 205. All right? So you're going to want to take part number 217, and you're going to put a flat washer on it. Now, what people don't know is a flat washer is side concentric. So that shiny side right there goes towards the bolt, and the little dull side goes towards the inside, because this little flat washer has just a tiny little lip on it to make sure that it stays in place. So we're going to do that 4 times. 1, then we're going to put part number 206, the little nylon washer, on the inside there. And then we're going to put the side without the cap on it. I'm going to slide that on here towards like that. Alright, and then we're going to put 2 more of those nylon washers on it. And then we're going to put the gusset on it. And then we're going to put 2 more flat washers on it. And then we're going to put 205 lock nut on it. And we're going to do that for both sides. Now we can tighten that up. And we're going to want it pretty good and tight. Now, okay, now we can put on our hinge triangles, and we're going to take that part, same part number 217, and we're going to feed it through there. But we're going to do something a little crazy here. Let's attach your part number 211, which is the 1/4 inch pin, to the lanyard, which is part number 212. Okay, and then we're just going to kind of loop that lanyard around the head of the bolt and put the washer on the back side of it. We're going to feed it through this bottom hole of this triangle here, and then we're going to put a nylon washer through it, and then we're going to put that through this middle hole here in what we're calling that vertical pipe, and it's going to get a flat washer and a lock nut. Now, what I like to do in this step is to put my pin in right here in the front to kind of hold all this together while I tighten it, because this is kind of a delicate operation here, because you're going to want to kind of hold this up while you're tightening it to orient the pin correctly. Now, you want this snug, but you do not want to over tighten it, because this is what allows the basket to flip over and go into the stowed away position. So you don't want to wrench down on it real tight. Just good and snug. Pull the pin out of it. If you can turn it with some resistance, then you got it. Okay? So we're going to do that on the other side here too. There. Okay. So everybody should have gotten one of these decal kits, and now is a good time to put your orientation bike gear home decals on the triangle here. I'm going to use this one since I've already used this one. And so this is actually in the bike position right now with this folded down and this flat against the table. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out. I'm going to pull this pin out right here. I'm going to take that hole and put it right here. And now you have actually the home position. Home position goes up like that. And then this position, the gear position actually goes upside down because when you flip it back over, it will orient itself correctly. Okay, and now we're going to do that on the other side. Now, for the next step, we're going to mount this to the uprights, and we're shooting for that bottom hole. We're going to line these holes up with this, and the tolerances are real tight, so it may take a little finagling here. That's why I got down on the ground with it so I can see. And goes right through there. And this is part number 217. And the flat washer on both ends. There you go. And now we get flat washer on both sides of there. And then we get the 205 nut right here. Now, this is another spot where it needs to be tight, but you don't need to crank down on it because you're going to want this, because you're going to want this to be able to freely move. So what I like to do is tighten it down just so where the end of that bolt comes through the lock washer and it's good, kind of snug. And if it's poking out of the end of that lock washer right there, then you're good. And so maintenance wise, you're gonna want to check these every, depending on usage, every couple of months. If it's heavy usage, maybe more. Check these and these, make sure everything's good. But now we're going to turn these over like this so we can mount the basket. Okay, now if you have a ruck wagon kit, skip to the ruck wagon installation guide now, and it'll take you through the rest of the process. If you do not, we can continue. So you'll see that these 4 holes right here in the bottom here are threaded, and we're going to put part number 208 in those threaded holes. And this is where you'll need your bigger hex key, the 7/32 hex key. But I'm going to use my socket here, and we're just going to put these, we're going to thread these in these holes. And it's kind of fiddly, so don't cross thread it. And you want to get this good and snug, but don't over tighten it. This is aluminum, and you will strip the threads, and then you're screwed. We're going to do that on all 4 of these holes. Now that we have all 4 of those in, we're just going to drop all 4 of these in those holes in those triangles right there. And it may take a little bit of finagling to get in there to start with. And then bam, it's in there. And then you're going to take part number 209 And we're going to fasten the basket. Now, the camera hole needs to be at the top here, so don't mount it upside down. And we're just going to take part number 209 and put those on there and take our 7/32 and our 9/16 and tighten those up good and tight. And we're going to do that at 4 locations. Okay, now that we have all of these bolts tightened, we're going to pull our pins. We're going to roll this up. We're going to put it in the home position by putting the pin in right here on both sides. And then we're going to adjust our seat here. But the first thing we're going to do is let's put this pin in. We'll put our hitch pin in to secure the load handler. I'm going to line this up. This slot right here gives you infinite adjustment. I'm going to line that up under our feet. And then we're going to tighten this. This is the hitch stabilizer. This keeps everything good and tight. 9/16. Do it a couple rounds on each side. Pull it up even. Till it's good and tight. And then we're going to roll these feet down. Now what you want with these feet is you want them to barely graze the top. Well, I wouldn't say barely, but you want them kind of snug on top of that bar there. And then you can open your gate to make sure it's going to do okay. And then you're going to want to tighten the crap out of these, because if you do not, then you're going to be crying because you're going to lose a foot, and then you're going to be on my website spending more money. So tighten the crap out of them. Now, one last test.